Good morning, students. I welcome you for this today's session, corrosion protection techniques. Today we will discuss in detail about corrosion protection techniques. Before we are going to start today's topic, let's discuss what we saw in the previous classes. What was that? We saw in previous classes about corrosion basic introduction, what are the effects, and the types of corrosion. What are the basic types of corrosion? Corrosion is broadly classified into two types. One is dry, another one is wet corrosion. Dry is also known as chemical corrosion. Wet corrosion is also known as electrochemical corrosion. The terms itself says that whether in the presence of moisture or in the absence of moisture. In dry corrosion, atmospheric gases plays a vital role for the corrosion. In the case of wet corrosion, there is a moisture plays a vital role based on the two different, one is metal, another one is moisture. Most important is moisture. When two different metals are in contact or a single metal is exposed to varying concentration. Based on that, we saw two categories. Based on the environment, we have classified two types. When two dissimilar metals are in contact with each other, hydrogen gas type of corrosion will be takes place. Or when metal is exposed to varying concentration of oxygen or an electrolyte, hydrous ion formation will be takes place. What are the possible reactions that takes place on the cathode side? At anode only corrosion will be takes place. At anode means on the metal surface. Keep in your mind. Yes. Let's go to start with how to control the corrosions. We can't control. Keep in your minds. We can't control, but we can prevent. So just to compare with your cavity, normally we eat all kinds of sweets, then spicy foods, acidic foods, everything we are eating. We are not maintaining the tooth. What will happen? Day by day, gradually our teeth undergoes cavity formation occurs, so automatically it will go decay. So so after sometimes it makes pain. Then we can remove it. We can fix it some other teeth also. Similarly, corrosion also takes place on the all kinds of metal except noble metals, because on noble metals only unstable outer layers are formed below that. Okay, then similar to our day-to-day life also, we can protect but we can't control. The various methods are there. One is change of the environment. One technique is we can either by changing the environment, whether it is acidic or basic. Next, potential change of the metal. So based on the by passing the electric current, we can protect the metal by changing the anode and the cathode part. In another category is change of the metal. That means pure metal, what we discussed in previous case, pure metal, it is unstable. Then only this kind of reactions takes place. 100% pure is mostly more stable. Okay, so 99.9% of the metal is purity, but due to some reasons it will undergo for relative corrosion. So by changing the metal means it being pure 100% along with the designs also. This is one method. Another one is by making coating. This is the easiest and simplest method. Next class we will see about how the coating supposed to prevent the corrosion. So there are four methods are used to prevent. One is changing the environment, change of the potential of the metal, changing the metal with the design. Another one is coating. In this class we will go to see how the types of potential change of metals prevent the corrosions. Potential change of the metals. It can be done by either cathodic protection technique or anodic protection technique. There are two possibilities there. We can protect anode or we can prevent or protect the cathode. Water may be at the anode only corrosion takes place. That is different. Here we can prevent the metal. Either we can prevent anodic part or the cathodic part by passing electric current. This is the main concept. So in cathodic protection technique, we are further subdivided into two. This is given our syllabus. In cathodic protection technique, we are having two different methods. One is sacrificial anodic protection method. Another one is impressed current cathodic protection method. Keep in your mind. Sacrificial anodic protection method is also known as galvanic protection method. This means galvanic means when two, again recollect the conditions, when two dissimilar metals are in contact, galvanic corrosion will be takes place, like T-set continuously joining. So galvanic protection method or sacrificial anodic protection method. Another one is impressed current cathodic protection method. Let's start with the first one, sacrificial anodic or galvanic protection method. That name itself says that one metal is going to sacrifice instead of other method. Okay, so which ones we need to sacrifice, which one need to protect, that metal is going to sacrifice protected by sacrificing another metal. See this diagram. Yes, uh, sacrificial anodic protection method. In this method, the metallic structure to be protected is made as cathode by connecting it with a more active metal, that is anodic metal. Keep in mind, in this method, which metal parts need to be protected, that is made a cathode, because we know that at the anode only oxidation takes place, where only corrosion takes place. So we need to protect that part. That's why that part is converted into cathode by connecting with a more active metal than this one. Suppose when we take iron pipe, means we want to protect the iron pipe. So this iron pipe is connected with more than iron reactive metal. So we can use, that is zinc. Zinc is more reactive with the iron. So we need to connect that iron with the zinc metal is meaning here. The metallic structure to be protected is made cathode by connecting it with a more active metal. That is, now this more active metal is act as a anodic metal, so that all the corrosion will concentrate only on the active metal, which metal we are used to connect that metal. The more active metal itself gets corroded slowly, while the parent structure, that is cathode, is protected. Hence, this process is otherwise known as sacrificial anodic protection method. The anode used for this purpose is called sacrificial anode. Can you understand? Metallic structure to be, which metal is to be protected is made to cathode by connecting it to more active metal. Now, more active metals act as anode, our actual metal act as a cathode. So all the corrosion will concentrate the added material. So that undergoes corrosion. So it is sacrificed to itself. This is the meaning of the sacrificial anodic or galvanic protection. The galvan is bi. Okay. So what are the possible metals are used here means aluminum, zinc, magnesium, and other alloys are used as a sacrificial anode. Keep in mind, aluminum, zinc, magnesium, and other alloys are used as a sacrificial anode. The completely corroded sacrificial anode is replaced by the fresher one. After the losses its nature, that after the metal is undergoes sacrifice corroded, we can replace it with another metal. These methods are where we are using is, we are used to protect the buried pipelines, used to protect buried pipelines, underground cables, marine structure, water tanks, etc. Okay. So mainly keep in mind what are the metals that may be used: aluminum, zinc, magnesium, and other alloys. It's used to protect the metals. So where we are using is, we use it to where are the possible metals are, where we are need to protect the metal, and all the places we can use it. What are the advantages? There is no external power supply is required, because metal itself undergoes corrosion. So it can use it for all kind of remote area. It is less cost only, and also low maintenance cost only. There is no need to maintain lot of amount. Limitations. So okay, what are the drawbacks? Limited driving potential and current output is available, because how much metal quantity is there, that much only we can able to utilize. Otherwise, when suppose imagine zinc pipeline is we need to protect zinc pipeline, iron pipeline. For that, more active metal like zinc is connected with this iron pipe. Suppose we forgot to remove the zinc after corroded part. When we forget to remove, means this iron automatically undergoes corrosion. So we need to replace the corroded zinc material. So less soil resistivity. When the two different kind of soils are present in the after the buried environment, when the different soil is present means, suppose when you take the muddy area, clay area, or soil sand area, means sand is easily porous. So automatically where corrosion also takes place more in rate. So it is not suitable for large size object. It can useful in the medium size protection method only, like water tanks, small burial pipelines. Like this area, we can use this technique. This is a drawback. Okay, especially where we are using it, we use it to protect now ships and boats. How we are protect? We know that always ships and boats are only floating on the water. That is more alkaline water also. So there only corrosion occurs most. So we can hang the sheets of zinc or magnesium around the hull of the ship. Hull means the side part of the boat or ship is known as the hull. So the more active metal is hung around the ships, act as a anodic area. It will act as an anodic part compared to iron, because we know that ship and boat are always made of iron. So the all corrosion will concentrate on the zinc or magnesium than the iron. This is the best method they use to protect. Applications. Continuity. The protection of underground pipelines, cables from soil corrosions. What I told previously. When we two different soils are there, means when we penetrate the pipelines or bury the pipelines, due to the soil resistivity, where we can use it to prevent the metal, on the time we can use it to hang the more active metals. Another one is the insertion of magnesium sheets into domestic water boilers to prevent the rust. So boilers will be protected and the by using these more active metals like zinc or aluminum or magnesium. Before that, we'll go as usual classes. We'll do it more activity. Let's continue with another method. Impressed current cathodic protection techniques. Another techniques. This is little different from the anodic part. In this method, an impressed current is applied in the opposite direction of the corrosion current to nullify it. Once again, I'll repeat. An impressed current is applied in the opposite direction of the corrosion current to nullify it, and the corroding metal is converted from anode to cathode. We are supplying some electrical energy where corrosion will be takes place. So what happens is the corrosion current and this current gets nullified, the metal to be protected. Now after passing that current, this anodic part is converted into now cathode. That's why metal is protected. This can be done by connective negative terminal of the battery to the objective to be protected, and positive terminal of the battery is connected to an inert anode. Inert anodes are used for this purpose are graphite or platinized titanium. Once again, how it is constructed is the object to be protected is connected to the negative terminal of the battery, and positive terminal of the battery is connected to an inert electrode. The inert electrode used for this purpose are graphite or platinized titanium. The whole setup is buried in black fill. The whole setup is, that is anode is, especially anode is buried in black fill, which contains a mixture of gypsum, coke grease and sodium sulfate. These are used to provide the energy for the backfill. The backfill containing mixture of gypsum, coke grease and the sodium sulfate. The backfill provides good electrical contact to the anode. The current from the battery is impressed on the metallic structure to be protected, which acts as cathode. So this is called as impressed current cathodic protection. I'll repeat. The current from the battery is impressed on the metallic structure to be protected, such as which act as cathode. So this is called impressed current cathodic protection method. Can you understand? Okay, how it is working? The backfill provides electrical contact to the anode. The current from the battery is impressed on the metallic structure, and then it will be protected by acting as a cathode. This is the diagrams also give the same reasons. Where we are using, it's also used in large driving voltage, larger flexibility control. It is applicable to large objects also. Uncoated parts can also be protected. The only drawback is compared with the anodic protection method, which is little cost. So installation and maintenance cost is little high because need to monitoring. Once if the backfill is over, the whole process will be shut down. So we need to make it reform. That's the drawback of this process. Okay. Let's take quick analysis how we understood. Name the metal used to protect the corroding metal. We can use zinc, aluminum or magnesium. Is both of these techniques are possible in large scale? No. Impressed current cathodic protection method only used for large scale. In small scale, we can go for sacrificial anodic protection method. Before going to summary, can you distinguish between sacrificial anodic protection method and the impressed current cathodic protection method? Yes. Just recollect. Let's start with the comparison between sacrificial and impressed cathodic protection method. For sacrificial, there is no need for external power supply. Impressed current essentially requires external power supply. In sacrificial anodic protection method, the replacement of anode must be done periodically. Here, anode is highly stable, so there is no necessity for replacement of the anode. In sacrificial, investment is low. In case of impressed current cathodic protection, investment is very high. Sacrificial is most economical method when short-term protection is required. Here, it is well suited for the large industries and long-term operations. In sacrificial protection methods, soil and microbial corrosion effects are not taken into account, but here soil and microbial corrosion effects are taken into an account. Finally, in sacrificial anodic protection techniques, it suits when the current requirement and resistivity of the electrolytes are relatively low. But here, this method can be practiced even if the current requirement and resistivity of the electrolytes are very high. These are things we have to keep in your mind. When we can, after the session, at the end of the session, we can able to write the distinguish between both these two methods. You understood clearly. I hope you understood. Otherwise, once again, revise the topic. Thank you. Thank you guys. Let's see in the next video.